My father was one of those individuals that he read a lot of self-help books, you know, how to think and grow rich. He turned me on to an author, Earl Nightingale, and some of his books on sales. And then I ran into Zig Ziglar, and his books were actually more about motivation than sales, but he worked in sales. Actually, we all work in sales. Every day of our life, we're selling, if nothing else, we're selling ourselves to other people. I don't mean physically selling ourselves, but we have to sell them on the idea that we're worthy of them to listen to us. But that's a whole different scenario. But anyway, my father, after one of his seminars, he came home. And my father, he made and lost several fortunes in his lifetime. He was always the type that would throw all the money back in the pot and let's do it again. He never held anything back. But he went to these seminars and he came home and he taught me and my brother a little bit about if you want something in life, go after it. And well, he would do these things like in the bathroom, he would tape little signs of, one of them was, I will persist until I succeed. So long as I persist, I will succeed. And so my brother and I, we were raised listening to this. And in trying to think of what next video I wanted to put up, I thought, what a better way than to come up with 8 things that you can do to improve your life starting today. I wrote them out because some of it I wanted to make sure that I said it correctly, and I didn't. This isn't from the book. This is from my memory of my father. So improving your life comes down to making small, manageable, and trackable changes. If you don't make them trackable, you don't know if you're growing at all. And all of these changes will be beneficial over time. 8 little things you should try. I really try my best not to ever tell you or tell anyone, do this or do that. That's not my place. I studied to be a minister for a few years. And when I left the ministry, I realized I couldn't be the kind of minister that I would respect. And so I didn't want to bring any shame to the ministry, so I just left the ministry. But we all have a little message that we would like to share sometimes. Number 1, create a morning routine. Now, what I mean by that is you start your day, you should rise early. They say some of the best planning that you can do is hours before the sun comes up. When I was young, I was fortunate. I was in the U.S. Army, and I was a firefighter in the Army. And I worked at the fire station, and a lot of times we would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and having a cup of coffee, standing on the tarmac in the cool morning air. Some of the best memories I have are from 5 o'clock in the morning. But there's just something about the morning. I like to get up and I have my coffee first. I can't do anything without my coffee. Even though now, especially after my pacemaker, I need to cut back on the caffeine. But I love my morning coffee. And then I catch up on some of my reading and writing. I just seem to have a clearer mind in the early morning hours. It's so calm and peaceful. It's sort of the calm before the storm, before the rush of the day. And I try to ease into my day. But it gives you a little bit of time that you can call your own. And if you use it, writing in your journal, reading something that you want to read, it's time very well spent for planning out your day. And that brings us to number 2, daily reading. Spend a little time each day reading something that you enjoy or that's educational. You know, when I was young, my favorite thing to do from study hall, I'd get a pass to go down to the library. And the librarian knew immediately what I was there for. I would sit and read for the 50 minutes of my study hall, the Encyclopedia Britannica. I remember I started at the A's, and I was somewhere around M when I left school. We didn't have the kind of money. I was not raised a middle-class child. We were poor. We didn't know it at the time because we had parents to be sure we didn't know it. But we couldn't afford Encyclopedia Britannica. I remember when the internet first started, I had a 56K modem dial-up. And the internet back then was mostly text. But you could log into a university library and read everything that they had scanned into the internet. It was, for someone like me, it was a dream come true. And I did that. That was my hobby in the evenings. Come home and plug into the internet. I remember I used to every night get a cup of coffee, a Twinkie, and sit down and just read from these different university libraries. It was a lot of fun. But reading daily keeps your mind active. You're going to see that a lot in this list that I have. Step 3, practice gratitude in everything. You know, if you take a few moments out of each day to reflect, you can show gratitude to the people in your life. You know, the ones, the people that matter to you most. And then show gratitude for the things you have in your life. The people first, because they're the most important. They say that doing this actually boosts your mood and perspective on things. There's something magical in expressing gratitude. I think as human beings, we're supposed to. Step 4, declutter your space. Now, if I took, it's kind of hypocritical for me to say this, because if I turned the camera around and you saw my desk, you would say, Chuck, take the log out of your eye before you go for the splinter in mine. But bear with me. I do have a lot of paperwork scattered around because when I'm putting together something, I often will write out 2 or 3 pages and read it over and nope, that's not what I want. Throw it aside and start over. And then, excuse me, halfway through, I'm pulling it back and I'm taking bits and pieces of it and incorporating it because parts of it were fine. You see, my problem is I'm a perfectionist. And the world is really hard on perfectionists. I do get that sense that when I sit down, I have a clearer mind. Clutter, it saps you of the energy of getting started on a project. Number 5, learn something new every day, folks. I learn something new every single day. Sometimes I don't want to. I had no desire to learn how to delete a program and reinstall it because it had been corrupted. I had no desire to do that this morning, but I had to. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. But I do learn something every day. And my notes say to dedicate time to pick up a new hobby or a skill, which can boost your confidence and creativity. Always learning keeps your mind active and alert. And I've always been told to be alert. The world needs more alerts. Okay, so I'm not going to make any money as a comedian. I get it. But always be trying to learn something new. Keeps your mind active. And it gives you things to talk to people about. Number 6, set goals, even if they're small ones. Now, no matter what stage in life you're in, if you're retired like I am, I have goals. I just had a pacemaker put in. But if you set goals, and for us older folks, we have to tailor those goals, make them smaller, to take a goal and divide it into 5 different tasks. And that way we can work on it, show some success, and get it done. Because what I used to be able to do in an hour now takes me 2 and 3 hours. And that's just a reality of getting old. My brother-in-law just posted on Facebook a little joke about getting old sucks. And so I posted, yeah, but the alternative is worse. You don't get a lot of alternatives. Getting old sucks, but there's really no alternative you want. So if you break the goals down into smaller tasks, it's easier. Number 7, connect with others. You know, if you reach out to friends and family and stay engaged, and yes, even I jotted down here, one of my notes was, engage in acts of kindness can improve your mood and create a sense of community within your family and friends. Even if it's just a quick text or a call, just stay in touch. I have so many friends that I've lost, mentors that I've known that are 5, 10, 20 years older than me. I'm 70 now. So there's the line from the Indiana Jones movie that I believe it was the second movie the third movie, where he says, that's right, life is now taking more away from you than it's giving you. When you get older, you attend a lot of funerals. Because the only other option is if you're not attending theirs, they're attending yours. So stay connected. Don't lose touch. Number 8, and it's the last one on my list. Get enough sleep. You know, but when I was young, I was burning the candle at both ends. You know, the old joke about, well, I can sleep when I die. I believe with everything that I have in me that the 8 things I've just discussed with you can help improve your life, can make you happier. I'm not going to say it can make you healthier because I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. But I do know that getting up early, showing gratitude, having a cup of coffee. I've been doing what somebody said in a video I watched a few months back. They said, get your coffee, throw a sweater or a jacket on, and step outside and walk for 5 minutes. take your coffee with you and just walk. Now, lately, I've been putting my heavy coat on and take the cat out with me. But breathing that fresh morning air. So there's some mornings I feel like I'm 17 again at the fire station. Now that I've mentioned succeeding and failing, let me bring this up. Almost everyone is going to start this and try to make things better. After a while, you're going to quit doing it. You don't mean to. It just, at first, you're all excited. I believe this will work, and you come up with your lists, and you get a good book to read, and then slowly life has a way of sucking you back into it. And that's okay. It's making change in your life can be hard. It's worth it, but it can be hard. So my recommendation is do your best, but don't expect everything to be perfect, because there's nothing in this life that's perfect. But do your best, and when you find yourself messing up, don't beat yourself up about it. The next morning, get up, get your sheet out, and put yourself back on the path. That's it. You don't beat yourself up about it. Why? We're not in this. There's no money involved. There's nobody's life is in danger. Your life will be happier. But not if you drive yourself crazy because you messed up a little bit. I'm a diabetic. Today when I got up, my blood sugar was not in a good place. But it was. I just decided that I wanted some treats. And I forgot that a big bowl of frozen fruit is all sugar. And that's what I had last night as my snack. Not a huge bowl, but double what I should have taken. So I'm not going to beat myself up today. Took my medication. In a few hours, I'll take my afternoon medication. I'll be back on track. I'm Chuck Cobb. I'll catch you in the next one, folks. Bye now.